Have you ever wished you could get a legal inside edge on the stock market? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and honestly, most misunderstood signals out there: insider activity. It sounds like a big secret, but you're about to find out how it's all hiding in plain sight.
Come on, we've all dreamed about it, right? Getting that one incredible inside tip, that single piece of info that could give you a huge advantage in the market. It is the ultimate investor fantasy.
You know, a cheat code that just tells you when to buy and when to sell. When people hear the words insider trading, that's exactly what they think of. But the reality? Oh, it's way more interesting. And believe it or not, way more accessible than you think.
Okay, this is where we need to get super clear on something. Because there isn't just one kind of insider trading, there are two, and they are completely different animals. And understanding that difference, well, that's the key to everything.
So let's just bust the big myth right now. The myth, the one from the movies, is all about these shadowy, secret backroom deals. But the reality? Most of the time, insider activity is totally legal, it's heavily regulated, and it's all filed publicly for anyone, anyone, including you, to go and look at.
So let's just quickly define the illegal stuff so we can get it out of the way. This is when an exec finds out their company is about to be acquired and secretly buys a ton of stock right before the news breaks. That is a crime. That's what lands people in hot water, and that is not what we're talking about today.
No, we are focused on this right here, the legal kind. And this happens constantly. Corporate insiders, the CEOs, directors, the people who know their companies inside and out, they are perfectly allowed to buy and sell their own company's stock. There's just one huge catch. They have to tell everybody when they do it.
And they can't wait around. The rule is they have to report their trades to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, within just 2 business days. That speed and transparency is what turns their private decision into a piece of public information for all of us.
And this is the magic document that makes it all happen, the SEC Form 4. Every single time one of these legal trades goes through, one of these forms gets filed. It's a public record, and it tells you who traded, how many shares, and at what price. This is the raw data we can actually work with.
So we've got all this data from these Form 4 filings. What are we supposed to be looking for? Well, the first thing, and by far the most powerful signal, is when insiders are buying stock. When a Form 4 shows a purchase, analysts sit up and pay very, very close attention. There's this saying on Wall Street, and it's really true, that an insider buying their own stock is the ultimate vote of confidence. I mean, think about it. Who knows the company's real worth better than the people running it? And the logic here is just so simple and so powerful. An insider is putting their own hard-earned cash on the line for one reason and one reason only. They think the stock price is going up. They see something, a gap between the price today and what they believe the company is truly worth down the road. It's a super clear, bullish signal. Okay, but here's where it gets a little bit messy. If buying is such a clear signal, you'd think selling must be a really bad sign, right? Like abandon ship. Well, not so fast. Figuring out what insider selling means is a whole different ballgame.
Let's just think about this for a second. There's really only one good reason for an insider to buy stock. They expect it to make them money. But to sell? Oh man, there are a million reasons. Maybe they need to diversify their portfolio, maybe it's for tax planning, maybe they're buying a new house or paying for college. The list goes on and on.
So here's the bottom line. A lot of the time, insider selling is just noise. It's life. It's personal finance stuff that has absolutely zero to do with how the company is performing. A single sale, or even a few of them, might mean nothing at all about the business itself.
All right, so how on earth are we supposed to tell the real signal from all that noise? This brings us to the really useful part, the smart investor's playbook for reading these signals the right way.
It all boils down to 3 simple rules. First, you've got to look for patterns. Second, you need to understand the context. And third, you always have to see the big picture. So let's start with rule number 1, patterns. A single executive buying some stock? That's interesting. But what if the CEO, the CFO, and a board member all start buying shares in the same week? Now that is not just a data point, that's a potential signal. It's the cluster of activity that really matters.
Now for rule number 2, context. And a huge piece of context is something called a 10b5-1 plan. Basically, this lets insiders set up an automatic trading plan months in advance to sell shares on a specific schedule. Because it's all pre-planned and automated, a sale made under this plan tells you absolutely nothing about what that insider thinks of the company today. It's just more noise you have to learn to filter out. Which brings us to our third and final rule. You have to see the big picture. Insider activity should never be the only reason you buy or sell a stock. It's just one more piece of the puzzle alongside your own research. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways, right? Most of this stuff is totally legal and reported on Form 4. Buying is a much clearer signal than selling, which is often just noise. And remember, patterns and context are everything.
So there you have it. By looking at this public data, you can literally see the moves that corporate insiders are making with their own money. In a way, they've laid their cards right on the table for you to see. The real question is, what's your next move? Thanks for tuning in.